Welcome to COO Executives in Transition, and we are designed to support Chief Operating Officers in these uncertain and challenging business times. Open to COO Forum members, as well as any Chief Operating Officer or second in command executive, pro bono, with absolutely no fee or obligation. This initiative aligns with the Chief Operating Officer Business Forum, Inc., COO Forum, core values, and is expressly intended for all Chief Operating Officers and second in command executives. We're in our 7th month, and we are going to continue with our weekly program, and we're going to continue to be looking for ideas for other things to add to this initiative. Just a few brief ground rules, just so we're kind of all in sync. First off, meeting courtesy. We want everybody to mute because it just it makes the speaker easier and the presentations work better. Business first, it's very informal, casual. Get up, go get a glass of water, do whatever you want to do. Move around, stand up. We're not here to talk about formality here. We want everybody to be relaxed and enjoy it. Business language and no politics just works better. This meeting is recorded, as are all of them. We will record in the Mighty Networks and later publish it in the Mighty Network. And then the final one is to keep your job prospects confidential. We just don't want anybody poaching, and some of you have seen it, I've seen it, and that's just bad. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be doing that. I'd like to introduce the two of the people that are on the docket today. First off, Fiona Murray is with us today, and she is sort of the champion of COO Forum in Transition and is handling a lot of the flow and a lot of the ins and outs. And we just, Laura and I really appreciate the great work she's doing and the great support she's giving to COOs in transition. Laura Weichel is the second in command for 13 years and our executive vice president. She's based in Atlanta, and she handles just about everything very, very well, including our chapters, our chapter directors, our members, as well as the COO Forum in Transition initiative. From that, I'm going to throw it over to Laura.
Great, thank you, Bill. I was having technical, I think I need a third screen to be able to manage everything here. I am very excited today to have Debbie with us. She's gonna work with us on LinkedIn and everything LinkedIn. And I just thought I'd give you a little background on Debbie and where she comes from and what she does. She is a career coach. She's in Houston, Texas. And she is a career coach, a speaker, and an expert on LinkedIn strategies. And she's been doing this for 14 years. She has 14 years experience in the recruiting and outplacement industries, and she assists people during their career transition and also in managing their careers. She began her career in the insurance industry and later moved into building her own business. It's focused on training, coaching, and recruiting. She currently pursues her private career coaching practice called Langford Career Strategies, and that's alongside her work as a senior outplacement career consultant at Right Management. She enjoys presenting career and social media topics to a wide range of professional groups, including ConocoPhillips Women's Network, International Institute for Business Communications, Women in Technology International, as well as local job search groups and MBA students at Texas A&M, University of Texas, and also at the South Texas College of Law. I'm going to stop.
Okay. Laura, we lost your, at least I lost your sound and you're frozen, but I hope that, can everyone hear me now? Just to make sure that, okay, wonderful. I am going to, let's see, I need to be able to share my screen now. So I'm going to, here we go. I think you should be able to see that now. Good morning, everyone. I am very excited to bring this topic to you. I have been talking about LinkedIn for quite some time. And I, as much as I have seen on this topic and keep up with it, I do not really hear a lot of people talking about how to increase your visibility. And, as a person who is in transition, that's really important for you to be able to make sure that you are, people are seeing you. And so we're going to talk about that today. And what we are going to work on is coming up with some ways of how to increase your visibility, but also how to even measure it. What are some signs of that? And then we're going to talk about some researching aspects to expand your strength of your network, along with building a target list of companies on LinkedIn. I would like to show you a few ways to use some various search filters. And there is a little bit of an art that might provide some continued visibility by posting your content and different things. So we're going to talk about all those things today. Let's see, I am going to, all right, get my screen set up here. So let's start out at the beginning. What do you do? What increases your visibility on LinkedIn? That means more people see you, more people know about you. You remind them about your transition and who you are. And these are the things that we're going to talk about in some detail. All-star profile status is definitely one of those, and we'll go over what is involved in that. You need to make sure that you incorporate your industry keywords. We know that keywords are vital. The strong and large network, if you just have a few people that you're connected to, you just don't have near as much power, and obviously your networking is limited there. I think that especially those of you who are on this call, if you are connected to some executive recruiters, that can be helpful. And then making sure to engage in your network by doing various things that we'll be talking about is what I'll be sharing with you today. So I'm not sure if you've heard this statistic, but all-star status of your profile actually is going to provide 40 times, you're 40 times more likely to receive an opportunity because of this very one fact. There's only just a little over 50% of profiles that are actually complete or all-star. When I say complete, I'm meaning all-star. And so you can really have a competitive edge by making sure that you have and meet these minimum requirements. So if you have a profile photo, that's important. Even just that one fact on your profile you'll receive 7 times more, you're 7 times more likely to be clicked on by others because you have that. Of course, your industry and location is kind of required as you're putting together that, but some of you may have are considering relocation and maybe considering a number of locations in the US. If that is the case, you'll want to use 5 zeros as your zip code rather than your actual metro area or the city that you're in. That will open things up and you will appear in more searches that way that have a US feel to it. There's also This about section is really critical. You can add your email or your phone number to for visibility for those that are not connected to you, so that they can directly send you a message. You do have to have 2 past positions, and when you use bullet points or a way to kind of show the different accomplishments you have, that makes it a little bit easier to read. The skills section, if you really need to have a minimum of 5. There's as many as 50 that you can put in there, and if you have this filled out with all the different skills and experience that you have, you're 17 times more likely to have profile views. So these are all things that are built in the algorithm. On your education, I would advise you that if you graduated 10 to 15 years prior to 10 to 15 years ago, just don't put your graduation year. We really think that being more ageless is a better way to go when people are initially reading about you and just learning, and it focuses more on your experience and your skills and that sort of thing. So the minimum requirement for connections is 50, but 500 I think is a nice goal for you to try and above. You really don't want to ever stop connecting with people, because that's more power. It gives you more powerful search results. So what you're going to find out in our session today is that LinkedIn rewards you when you have completeness of your profile, when you have more connections, and when you are more engaged with your network. Those are kind of the 3 main things. And so I just wanted to go over those about your profile. So in your headline, which is the line, there's 220 characters that you have there. It's right underneath your name. This needs to be something that's very targeted, so that you can make sure to start to show who you are and what you do. What's important here is your targeted title. The most left words actually are weighted heavier than words that are following it. And so whatever your targeted title that you most likely will be filling and looking for, that's what you want to put here. The SEO of LinkedIn has gotten so sophisticated that if you were to put some sort of adjective like driven sales manager, it actually might bring up Uber drivers. So you probably want to just keep it to indicating your level and your experience in a title. So what are some examples? I actually pulled these from people on LinkedIn, and I'm just giving you kind of an idea of what a headline could look like. So the Director Operations and Business Improvement, this helps us to know that this is not an entry-level person, but it also shows the kind of the expertise in various areas in this one. Here's another one that actually uses a branding statement rather than keywords. And, you need to reflect kind of a style of your personality, of what you feel like is best. But this gives a person a little bit of a better understanding of how this CIO works as opposed to others. This one is, again, a little bit different. The pipeline is used, but you can see that this has some really important things for this person to take away. I mean, regional vice president is pretty general. So the words after it are helping to describe this person better. And then here's another one that actually, instead of the pipeline, uses global negotiator or strategic account manager and that sort of thing. So I see that Joanne has a question on this section. Joanne, do you want to come off mute and ask it?
Great, thank you for that.
Sure.
So there are a lot of folks or experts out there on LinkedIn, and my head sort of spins as I talk to people in multiple directions because everyone seems to have kind of a different opinion. What I went through a 6-week course on LinkedIn, and their opinion was in this section it should be only titles you're seeking, and that sort of electrified the algorithm to that place. And that there were other places to put sort of some of these other of your expertise or qualities that would hit that. But and it has also certainly been recommended to me to try and show some personality in this section. But if in fact I am looking for both a COO title and a VP of Ops in a Fortune 500 or higher, then should those both be present in this so that people who are looking for that are hitting my profile?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are synergetic with each other. And so I don't see what there wouldn't be any issue with you putting both of those titles. I would make sure that the one that you are probably leaning towards, or that may be more priority for you, is the first one that you would put just in the algorithm.
Great, thank you for that.
You're welcome. All right, so let's talk about another section where you can really kind of infuse some of your personality and also show and really kind of start to build your credibility. This is the About section. And I started talking to people about everyone has a superpower. And when I talk about a superpower, I am talking about your professional self, but it's not just your professional self. Of course, your career that you've built, the skills and the achievements that you've had, that certainly is one part of your superpower, but there's another part of you that Joanne talked about, your personality. Some people have a sense of humor that can show through. If you have a mission and of course your passion, those are things that kind of infuse together to make you a person that has something that you do better than anyone else. And that's what you really want to highlight here, because this is showing your uniqueness and how you go about doing that. And you have to substantiate it throughout your profile, of course, but this is kind of the summary of yourself. So the best way to capture this is to make sure that you are using first person language. Don't talk about yourself in third person as if you're talking to somebody else. Introduce yourself with I, me, my, those different personal pronouns. And some of you, if you're changing careers, and what I mean by careers, it could be just kind of a repositioning of a title, but it also could be repositioning of an industry. You're going to want to make sure that you explain how your previous experience connects and transfers into that industry or that related field, and you cannot expect the person who's reading it to connect the dots. You kind of have to connect the dots for them. The other thing that is different about LinkedIn than your resume in this portion is that you have the ability to talk about where you are headed in your career, what you're wanting to do. You don't have to talk about just your past. This gives you the opportunity to really talk about where you're taking yourself and what your goals are. So this is something that I think a lot of folks can improve upon. And this, your superpower can, let me give you some examples of this, because I think this will start to maybe get the juices flowing a little bit. I worked with this gentleman. 3 words best describe me: ingenuity, enthusiasm, intensity. I am an out-of-box thinking chief scientific technical advisor with a passion for solving complex problems to produce industry-leading solutions. So he's picked 3 words to describe himself. That's kind of his personality. You start to get a sense of who he is. I love this one. My former boss, this is the very first sentence on her about section. My former boss called me his Swiss Army knife. That's because I deliver multifunctional expertise within the HR scope. So now you're starting to get a sense that she's not just this one kind of boring HR person. Here's another one. I'm a finisher, which is to say, I'm the person who will get the job done right, who sees obstacles as opportunities, and who always exceeds expectations. That's an accounting professional. With that first sentence, you probably wouldn't know that about this person, but combining this with their headline, with their experience, it gives you a different flavor, and it's not just the same old accounting person. Love this one. Tell me what you need and then walk away and never look back. This is a person who takes charge, really wants to get things done, and is very independent in their thinking. Here's somebody who is a marketing professional. I tell compelling stories for companies, causes, and brands. I utilize every megaphone and tool in my bag to amplify brands. So I hope you're kind of giving this flavor. This is one of my personal friends, actually, who was in job search in 2020. I love selling. One of my earliest and most meaningful life accomplishments was being the top Girl Scout cookie seller in my troop when I was 9. That success set me a career path for me at an early age. So not everybody shares a little bit of their childhood that actually kind of projected them and propelled them into where they are. But if that is for you, that is a way to kind of add some spice. So John, if you can just stay with me, I am getting to where you're asking and talking about. Because the next thing that we're going to talk about is incorporating industry keywords, and that's something that you have been talking about. So one thing that's really interesting, and I'm going to compare resumes with LinkedIn because they work in concert, but they are very different. When a person, a recruiter, a hiring manager is looking for somebody like you, they are using nouns and job titles and noun phrases. Oftentimes in a resume, there are more action verbs because of the responsibilities and the skills that people are portraying there. So these are kind of a little peek into what would be important. So what are some other things besides job titles? Well, your skills, your certifications, different competencies. If you have a technical bent to what you do, then you want to share those. And some of you might be asking, well, gosh, I mean, that'd be great if I knew what my industry keywords. I think you know what they are, but sometimes you just need confirmation of them. And so where can you find them? Well, there's 4 different places that I'm going to give you some tools to find these. Job postings, ATS simulators, keyword and occupation sites, and networking. So let me briefly, I need to get something up here so I can share on my screen. I've got two screens too, Laura. So all right, so let's go with some of the resources. Tag Crowd and WordSift allow you to create word clouds. And what you can do is collect about 10 job descriptions that describe the role that you want. Locate them on, various job sites that you feel are helpful, like Indeed or LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter. And then what you're going to do is you're going to copy all of those job descriptions into one Word document. Once you have eliminated the headings in those job descriptions, like responsibilities or education, which are not words that are important in this exercise, then you can copy that entire text from the 6 Word descriptions, the word job descriptions, into one of these word cloud websites, and it will provide you with the most frequently used words. So that is one thing that you can do. Another thing you can do, if you haven't heard of jobscan.co, this is, whoops, excuse me, I'm not talking about that yet. ATS is an applicant tracking system. And that is a system that companies use to compare how well do you match with a job description that they have advertised. And when you apply on their website, this ATS actually scans your resume even before a human will. On JobScan, you are going to get some really nice analysis of how to improve and increase your match rate. And one of those parts is keywords that they have figured out based on what the job description is. So that can be another tool for you. There's also a couple of websites that, especially people who are looking for changing careers, but it certainly could work for someone that is not changing careers, is CBLift or onetonline.org. And ONET I refer to quite a bit. You can look up kind of a family of jobs and find out different alternative job titles and different skills and experience that is required there. It's meant to educate you. And so I'm hoping that these resources can help you to figure out those keywords that are most important to you. So another way that we can measure and increase your visibility is having a strong, large network. What I want you to take a look at this picture is it's a visual representation of the different degrees of separation that exist on LinkedIn. And of course, your first level connections are those that you are directly connected to. Your second level, you have someone in common with that person. You both, for instance, this grouping right here, you have this person in common with all these 5 people. There are LinkedIn groups that you can join, and because there is the ability to message a LinkedIn group member for free, they actually are closer to you than your third level connections. So your second degree can oftentimes be where your power really is. So grow your first level connections so that you can have a more powerful network. And so I'm hoping that can give you some direction here. I would like to move on to how to actually analyze the strength of your network. And so I am going to go into LinkedIn real quick. If you can bear with me while I switch my screen. And this, can everyone, can one or two of you tell me you're seeing my LinkedIn profile here? Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that that was done. So there is a way for you to analyze what you have done. Oh goodness, excuse me. Let me try this again. I've got, if I don't watch it, then my screen changes. Excuse me for that. When you are on LinkedIn, the thing that a lot of folks do not realize is that there are some advanced search filters, and I am clicking up here in the upper left-hand corner inside this search window, and then I'm hitting the enter key. And when I do that, I get this whole new set of filters. And when we get to the research portion, I'm going to show you some ideas about this, but specifically, I just want to show you how you can kind of analyze your network. So because I'm analyzing my network, I want to look at the people section first. And when I do that, there's a whole lot of folks that are, you can see over 700 million profiles. Okay, that's in all of LinkedIn, but I want to see mine. So I'm going to hit first degree connections because this is my connections. And then I'm going to look at, I can also, who do I have in here? If I've got a particular industry that I am focusing on, let's say it's healthcare, I'm going to click on all filters and go down to the area where I can type in an industry. And here's hospital and healthcare. And so I can select more than one industry. I can use that one. I could put in, let me put health. There's health, wellness, and fitness. So let's look and see how strong. So when I show the results here, I've got 418 people that are sharing with LinkedIn that they are part of healthcare. Is that a good representation of people that I can now talk to and start to network with them? If you are changing industries, then this kind of gives you at least where you're starting from and where you need to go, and you'll need to work to expand that. But you can also do, you can find out where do they live. Well, if you want them to be in your area, I'm in the greater Houston area. How many of those 418? Well, I've got almost 200 folks in this area, but I can, if I'm relocating, I can put in the place that I would want to relocate to and kind of see where it is. Then the next thing that I could even do is how many leaders am I connected to? Those might be leaders that are like me or even above. And I can put in this all filters. I can put in a title. I could put in VP or VP Vice President, if that is my title, or I could put in, I'm not going to put COO. I'll go ahead and put it. Now, the reason why I put the or, it's a Boolean command. I don't know if you've heard of Boolean terms, but those actually allow LinkedIn to look for all three of these terms, not just one of them. So if you use the word or the word and, it has to be in all caps, or you can put not. So and or not, those are some Boolean terms that can help you. So now I've really got some nice I've got 25 people that are VPs that all of a sudden I can really hone in on and prioritize my networking, see where they're working, see if it's a company I would want to work in, and so on and so forth. So that's a way for you to analyze your industry and just kind of see what your network is about. There's also something too that you can do where you can actually download your contacts into a PowerPoint or CSV file so that you can do some sorting by company, by job title, and all of that. And I want to show you how to do that really quickly while I'm here in LinkedIn. I'm going to go to the Me icon first. And my next slide has these instructions, just so you know, and I will put it up as we leave. But the Me icon, and I'm going to go to the Settings and Privacy area. And when it comes up, it comes to the section of LinkedIn about how LinkedIn uses my data. And you'll notice that there right here, it says get a copy of your data. So I'm going to click on that setting. And because I'm wanting to do something specific with my connections, you notice that I can specifically download certain information. So I'm going to select this, click on connections, and then what you notice is this request archive button will appear. It takes about 10 minutes for you or it may take a little bit longer depending on how large your network is. And then you will be able to go through your this list, categorize it, and actually use it to prioritize the people that you want to be able to talk to and work with. So I'm hoping that gives some resource for you. As you see right here on this slide, I've got those same directions and kind of a diagram so that you can look at this and follow it if you didn't quite catch everything as I was describing it. But I think that this can be really helpful. And I'm hoping that this can give you a better understanding of who's in your network. So another visibility measurement is connecting with executive recruiters. This seems quite obvious, but I'm going to tell you this. I was a recruiter for 3 years, and when I got a new search, I would usually look at the people that I knew first because I had a relationship with them, or I at least had access to them very quickly. And so I would look to see who I could send a message to really, really quick. I may have worked with them in the past, and so make sure to connect with those who have a specialty in your industry and or your job function. I would recommend that if you have some target companies, follow those companies if you aren't already on LinkedIn, because recruiters oftentimes will go to that subset of LinkedIn because they know these people are interested in my company. I'm going to look here first. So that would also give you some competition edge. There are LinkedIn groups that span from alumni to company groups to different professional associations and different industry groups. Guess what? When I was working as a healthcare recruiter, I joined all sorts of healthcare groups because I wanted to see what they were talking about. I wanted to have access to people. And as that diagram that I showed you, group members are actually closer than third degree connections. So again, that's a strategy. And of course, people that you know that you trust, they probably, if they have worked with anybody, looking at their referrals and working with them, you've got some actual recommendations there that you should always look at. The other thing is your LinkedIn. What a recruiter really likes to see is if your LinkedIn is client ready, where when they're presenting you to someone, they want you to show up well. And so if your LinkedIn profile is really spiffy, if it's got what, if it's really representing you well, it needs to possess a sense of who you are, and not just rambling or barely any information there. So that's important. And then you want to refer others to recruiters if they approach you with an opportunity, but it's not quite a good fit for you. Maybe you know somebody who they should talk to. I mean, referrals for a recruiter are golden because it provides some access to people. I actually talked with people who weren't even on LinkedIn because I got referrals when I was a recruiter, and that's just really important. I put this URL here because Hunt Scanlon puts together a list of the top executive recruiters for every year, and so I wanted to make sure that you took a look at that and kind of put it in the lens of your career goals and see if that made any sense to you.
Hey, Debbie, a quick question. In the chat, we're talking about emails. When we download that list of connections, are the emails downloaded in that list?
Some of them are, and thanks for bringing that up because I forgot to mention this. Emails are only shared in that list if a person has elected to share their email with everybody on LinkedIn. That is just kind of the way that is set up on LinkedIn. You can go personally to their profile and get their email, but it's not in that downloaded list unless they have that privacy setting.
So you're going to see some with emails and some without, basically.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so, as I mentioned, engagement is a really important part of your visibility, in addition to the connections, in addition to your all-star status. And so when you are more engaged by sharing your status updates, using hashtags are really important, and we're going to talk about those in just a moment. That will increase your visibility, along with even writing some of your own articles, which can be almost like a blog. I worked with somebody in my private practice who had been in sales for years and years, and he had come up with these principles that he ran his sales organization by, and he kind of broke them into small pieces, and he shared them once a week with his network, and it was a way for him to share his expertise, but also stay top of mind as he was going through transition. You can also tag people or companies when you are commenting on someone else's, and the way that you tag them is you use the ampersand, the @ symbol, and then that person's name, and that's how you, or the company. And what that does is anybody who's you tag, their network is now going to see your comment. Any company, the people that are following you, potentially following that company, will potentially see your comment. And so these are all different ways when you combine. And what is most important is your activity on LinkedIn really needs to support your direction, who you are, what you do, how well you do it. You don't want to stray from that, because that can kind of water down your message. The advanced search features are what I was just telling you about, those that second set of sections, and entering in those group discussions on when you're in a group can also show your expertise and be a thought leader. So when you engage with others, there is a lot of search engine optimization that happens. As I mentioned, you're wanting to showcase your leadership, your thought leadership, as well as your expertise. So here are some ideas that you can do that really doesn't take that much time. I mean, go through your news feed and make some comments. Don't just like something. You know, you can comment on it. You can reshare it and that sort of thing. There is a setting where you can find out people and be notified when they have a birthday or work anniversary. And this is ways that you can maintain your relationships that you have. Of course, those LinkedIn groups are helpful to do. And then there's also something that can be really helpful to another person is endorsing them, giving them some credibility as well as recommendations. There's also, as I mentioned, tagging people and companies when you post or share and like comments. And hashtags are actually used to as a search term, and I'm going to show that to you here in just a minute. But these are just a few hashtags that you might want to play with and use. And the hashtags bring up what people are sharing and posting on LinkedIn. And when they use that hashtag, you can actually follow hashtags. And so you can, this can provide you some really great market intelligence. It can also help you with expanding your network and that sort of thing. So let's see, Seema, you asked a question in the chat. Are you correct that if you share a post from someone else and want the person to know I'm sharing, I could use the person's name in your repost? Yes, you can thank them for it, or kind of emphasize a point that they made. You can do that in your post, but you can also do it in the comments too if you decide to comment rather than repost, Seema.
And Debbie, just a heads up, we have about 12 minutes. You wanted me to give you a little heads up.
Oh, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. So measuring your visibility, now that we talked about how to increase it, how are you going to find out what you're doing really is gaining some traction? Well, with premium subscriptions, you can find out who's viewing your profile for the past 90 days. The premium is something that people elect to do on a one-on-one preferential basis. And I know that's kind of one of the #1 reasons why someone really enjoys that. There's other benefits to having it, but that's one of them. When you have people actually comment on your posts, you can be more exposed to their networks to see what you have posted because they have made comments. So I put this in here. I don't know if you can see it, but I normally have 200 to 300 views per post when I'm posting different job search articles and different things about LinkedIn. But because there were a number of people who commented, there were 9 comments here, it actually got more traction, and I got 788 views on this particular post. And so that's just kind of a small example of how you can increase your visibility. Of course, InMails are going to start appearing either as an email or through LinkedIn. because you are sharing that, people are wanting to connect with you and ask you questions and maybe have found you. So that's important to see. Um, and then there's also referrals from your network. When you are networking with people, the more people you're talking to and having those informational sessions, the better you are going to be introduced to newer people. The last thing may be new to you, and it's called the Social Selling Index. There is, this was created because there is a premium subscription called Sales Navigator. But anybody, regardless of if you have this, the Sales Navigator premium subscription, you can use this link to determine what your social selling index is. They have, it measures your effectiveness at using your professional brand on LinkedIn to attract leads and grow your network. And you can see where your LinkedIn profile stands compared to the rest of your industry, how well you stack up against the rest of your network. And so it's really kind of these 4 components you see down here: establishing your professional brand, finding the right people, engaging with insights, and building relationships. So I would challenge you to look at your social selling index and then do some of these things that I've recommended and see if it increases over time. That will be one measurement that I think might be useful information. All right, so we have just a few minutes left here, and I know we've talked a lot about that visibility because it was most important. Some of it I already shared with you, using these advanced search filters, but there is an alumni search feature that I want to quickly talk about. I wasn't sure if all of you are aware that you can actually search your connections. Maybe you're connected to somebody who is quite a networker, and you want to know if they are connected to somebody in a particular company. You can also build a company target list, and then those hashtags are an important part of things. So as I was mentioning before, that clicking inside that search window and then hitting the enter key is going to bring up this new list of filters for you to use in your research. And what I did was I clicked on the schools, and my alma mater is the University of Texas. I selected who do I know that graduated from UT. I used the pre-selected and the predetermined criteria: where they live, where they work. There's actually 6 different ones, but I clicked on Houston, and then I can see where do most UT grads work in the Houston area. Well, that would be cool for me to know, especially if I'm looking for target companies and especially if I'm trying to do some networking. And so I checked that you can put your graduation or, the time that you were at that university. Remember, before I said you might not want to put your years if it is, past 15 years. This search will include people that don't include the years too. But the 1980 to 1985 that I have here is just going to represent a subset of that. The other thing that I thought I would show you is there's an events bubble, and you can find virtual events by putting in keywords. As you can see, I put continuous improvement when I did the search, and I found 149 different virtual events. And I was talking to Laura about this, and I think she's going to start trying to get COO forums in this list, but this can be really cool. It's most everything is online, but you can even search by location, even though it's online, if that is helpful to you. The researching the connections of connections, I just thought I would share this briefly, is when you get to the People's tab on this advanced search filters, you are going to click on the all filters, this number 2, and then you're going to put in those first degree connections, just like I did before. But as you can see right below that on number 4, you can type in a person's name that you're connected to. And when I click on show results, then I am going to get a list of people that Marvin knows. And then I wanted to find somebody. Does he know anybody at IBM? Well, I can then find some of his connections and ask him for a virtual introduction that way. So that can be really helpful as well. There's also a way for you to build a target list of companies based on a location, on an industry, on the size of your company. And that's what this slide shows. It's pretty straightforward. And so I'm going to let you play with that a little bit by using those advanced search filters. And then the use of hashtags, just quickly, you can discover all sorts of topics and groups and interests most relevant to you. You can actually save some time by customizing your news feed by just looking at certain hashtags, because you just want to look at some industry news or on a particular topic. When you are doing some posting or commenting, the recommended amount of hashtags is 3 to 6. And what I've shown here is I am responding to one of my networks there, and I've used some hashtags, as well as when I hit at Helen, her name came up, but it takes the at out and it just shows her name in bold face, and that's when you tag either a person or a company. And as I mentioned a little bit ago, you can pull up a hashtag by using that search window up at the very top on the left. And leadership challenges, for instance, you can follow that hashtag, and then anybody who looks at that, or you can pull it up, you can see what are people talking about when it comes to different types of things. And here I just wanted to show you that when I followed operations management and I pulled that up, this topic and this person actually had operations management in his post, and that's why I'm seeing it when I do this search here by using the hashtags.
Hey, Debbie.
So, yes.
I don't want to cut you off because this is really interesting, but I know a lot of people have to jump off at the top of the hour. We're about there.
This was my last one. This was my last one, just to allow people to know that help feature is available if they have any questions functionality wise. But I know that we're right at the top of the hour, and I tried to make, I know I kind of flew through some of that research stuff, but I'm hoping that when the recording comes out, feel free to review it, but I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. If you would like to work more on strategies and that sort of thing, go ahead and just send me an email, and we can see if it makes sense to work together. But I just appreciate this opportunity to be a part of things. Thank you so much, Lauren, Bill.
Absolutely, Debbie. There were some, when I said you had some secrets in this presentation, you weren't kidding. This was really helpful, and I think everybody in the chat was saying the same. So we'll get this posted, because I know I'll need to go back and look at this myself for some things I want to do. We'll have it posted in the Mighty Network later today, and feel free to share with anybody. It's great content, and really appreciate that, Debbie, and your time and expertise on all of this. I don't know if I know Bill has to run because he's got an appointment he has to get to, and if anybody needs to, but if anybody had any specific questions, Debbie, if you can hang out for a couple minutes, we can address those.
Yeah, I know that I probably missed some questions, and I was just wanting to try and make sure that I got through the presentation, but I can stay for a few minutes. Does anybody have a question that I missed that I could answer?
I said Janice.
So I know, excuse me, I know this is a very hard subject, but are you able to give us any insight into the LinkedIn algorithm?
I've shared a lot of the LinkedIn algorithm that I know. And there's a lot of LinkedIn algorithm depending on what you're asking about. So the algorithm of the complete profile, about how many times more you get opportunities, I've kind of woven that into my presentation. So the reason why I've shared some of these things is because of what I know about it. So maybe that's a way to answer your question there.
Well, one of the best things I learned today, and I know a lot about LinkedIn, was that you could follow a hashtag, and I have a feeling that will help you receive in your feed more about that specific topic and the people, and then you'll learn who are the leaders and thought leaders in that area. So for me, that was really big. And there were several others, so thank you.
You're welcome, Janice. Anyone else?
Okay, well, with that, thank you, everybody. We've got a great, for those of you who are left, we have March and April are full. Next week, we're doing, Laura Goodrich is joining us, and we're going to do creating a positive mindset. She's a pretty dynamic speaker. We're looking forward to that. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll do a recap and follow up on the Mighty Network shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. It was a pleasure, everyone.
That was wonderful, Debbie. Thanks so much. You know, one of my favorite thing that I had absolutely no idea you could do was to look into your connections. I had no idea that search, that you could do that by just